Crafters, welcome back to my channel, Margaret Knob Designs. Thank you for joining me for this Country Craft Creations tutorial and walkthrough. The tutorial is going to be more of a brief overview. It's not going to be a page-by-page tutorial because, well, I'll talk you through all of that as we go. But I started out with this paper collection from Country Craft Creations. It's called Always Happy, and it is an amazing collection of sunflowers and bees and, you know, just the honeycomb. It really is just a really cool paper and really fun. One of the things that I've been doing in my own collections is I've been trying to use up some of the things that I have. So I have a lot of pre-made binders, and I wanted to use some of them up. So this is a Graphic 45 mini album, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it exactly the same or similar. But I wanted to use this one so that I'm using from my collection, from my stash. So this album is 6 by... I think it's 6 by 8. Yeah, it's 6 by 8. So it's a 6 by 8 album, and then the spine is, now if I hold it up in front of me, I don't know why I always turn this the wrong way. And the spine is like 2 3/4. So it's easy enough to make an album or a binder that is exactly the same as this, only out of your own things from your stash. So what I started out with, this is one of the cut-aparts from the collection. I took in some, oh, sorry about that. I took and put some small florals on here. I wanted to keep it a little bit more simple, a little bit more country. And that's why I used this twine on here, kind of this jute twine. And let's go in, or let's take a look at it. And what I did here too is I used my, I always forget the name of these when I'm, when I get on camera. They're not brads, but you know what I'm talking about. So these are from We Are Memory Keepers, and I used my big chomper thing and put that one in there and this one in the back. I thought it was a nice color for that, and I used some of the bee paper on the back of my album. And I have this on here just to keep it closed, as it's going to fill up a little bit as I go. So our album again is 6 by 8, and it has, this actually has 6 signatures in it. So if you were going to make your own album that is the same as what this album is, what you would do with this is you would make this, you could make 6 signatures, and basically you make your hinge or your pocket. If you have done pocket hinges before, you would do that, and then you would have a flap on one side and a flap on the other. And your pages in this binder are, yep, they're 5.5 by, I think, 7.5. Yeah, 7.5. So every piece of this paper that I put down in this collection is all been matted 1/8 smaller than what the measurements are. So if this is 5.5, this is then going to be, when I cut it, it'll be 5 3/8 by 7 3/8. So that'll be your consistent cut all the way through. The only places that the cut is different is on the back end of the covers, the back, I'm sorry, the front and the back. But otherwise, in putting this through, this is one of my signatures. And basically, I would cut one piece of the album, put a hinge on it, glue it to my pocket page, and then on this side do another flap, glue it down here onto this pocket page. And then I would still have a pocket in the middle, and I did put a mat in there. Oh, and These these I measured all the way along at 7 by 5 1/4, and I just did a little bit of the pattern paper. And the reason why I didn't use the whole, like a whole sheet on here, was because I was using the 8 by 8 paper collection, and I used the majority of the collection up for this album. There's a few, I don't have any whole sheets left. I just have cutoffs left. So we start out here where some of these pages, what I did is I put a whole piece of the paper down, and then I have one of the cut aparts, and I left that open so that I could put a picture underneath that, or, you know, mildly open so that something could be tucked in there, whether it was a flap or, you know, and pictures up here. And then when you turn over like here, each of these they're either like 2 by 3 or 3 by 3. And what I did is that I took these pieces that basically were cutoffs of these pieces that were the 8 by 8 paper. So whatever I cut off of the 8 by 8 paper from these pieces, I put down onto here, and then I put my photo mats in there, and then I came back and I put my designer paper, any of the remnants that I had left, and I put those in there. This is a pocket, and I also put a flap. I added the flap on here, and these photo mats are 4 by 4. And that goes like that. And then I was trying to just save on not using magnets on this album. So you could use a tag here. The other thing that you could do is you could tie jute in there. You could tie a ribbon. I chose to leave them blank for now because I didn't want to get this too chunky. I think that using this type of string or jute would maybe make it a little bit too thick. So I just decided to not do that. So if we go over here, we can see on the back page, I also have a mat here that I used that is Country Craft Creations green paper, the army green paper, and that's what I also used for the mats in the pockets to give it a little bit more depth of color. And I think that you'll see that the black is really nice as a base, but this green adds some more depth and dimension to the book. This is one of the cut aparts. I cut that out, fussy cut that out. And then on the back of here, I used a whole sheet. And as I went along, I ended up not doing as many full sheets as I did more of the picture pages. And this again is one of the cut up. Ooh, here we go, flying all over the place, my flowers. Sorry about that. All right. So this is one of the cut aparts. You can put a tag in there, or you can go down there to go underneath the picture. And then we flip that over on this page. Again, this is one of the cutoffs from the 8 by 8 piece. And then when I came back with my scraps, I put that into there. And this tag comes out, and this is a flap, 4 by 4. You can actually fit more tags in here if you like. And then we've got our picture mat there. And these pieces here measure 1 inch. And then on the back of that, we have our photo mat again. And I didn't put the cardstock on all of that either because I didn't want to get it too full. So we have a full sheet here, and then this is one of the cut aparts or pieces of ephemera. And on the back of here, I did some different photo mats down here, and I did a cutout of cut apart of the bee. And we go back over here. You can see how well this green cardstock works with this album or this paper collection. and it's called Always Happy by Country Craft Creations. It's an exclusive collection to Country Craft Creations. Then on the back of here, I changed this and I did it to the other side just to give it a little bit of variety. And then I've got some more photo mats over here. I also have still a few of the bees and things that I want to add to my book. And I will, but it's just a little bit tougher fussy cutting that, and I wanted to get this out to everybody, so I didn't add as many of the bees and everything that I will come back to do. All right, and then we've got this on the back, and I fussy cut this out and this with the tags, and this is part of the ephemera pieces, and this is down flat, so that there could be either journaling on here or it could be more photos. I love this paper. And again, on the back, we've got our photos. We've got a photo mat. This is actually some of the cut aparts from that sheet or the ephemera pieces. But I thought it actually made a nice display on the page. And then we turn that over, and again, there's the photo mat. We've got our tag and our flap. And then we've got, now some of these I believe were 2 by 3. We'll just put some cuts on there a little bit different. Same thing over here. So there's plenty of room for any type of photo in here. You know, you can even put a photo on here that is close to a 4 by 6 would be good. This is a 4 by 4. You can tuck photos in on these tags, on the photo mats. You can add even some solid cardstock on the back of that for some journaling if you like. And then we come along here. We've got more of our sunflowers and bees. And our mats go down in there. Lots of bees and beehives. So as we go through, and we've got more picture mat there. Then I've got another flap right here. And with this flap, I did, I fussy cut some of those pieces, and I glued those are glued flat down onto there, because they would have been too hard to leave them up, because they would end up bending. So I just chose to put those down flat. And then onto the back, and here is the back of our cover. And that is our small album. Again, this right now is a Graphic 45 black mini album, 6 by 8. But you definitely can make this album from scratch. I have a video, and I'll put it down in the description of the video on how to make a cover, you know, your mini album, and putting it together with the spine. The only thing that my basic mini album does not show how to put these pages together. But the best way to think of it is to create your pocket hinge and then add a flap on this side, add a flap on this side, and you've got the 6 hinges that are in this book. It will be exactly the same. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this collection and what I did with the collection. Again, it is absolutely beautiful. It's exclusively at Country Craft Creations, and this is a design team project for Country Craft Creations for December. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I will see you again soon. Thanks so much. Good night.